Heroes of Greyhawk is a game played by adults and recorded for an adult audience. Sometimes we use adult language and explore adult topics. Consider yourself warned. My friends, as we zoom into the nation of Philiomena, a land cursed by its own geography, plagued by proximity to a growing evil. Too close are the skies above Whitest Still Lake, blackened and heavy with the rot of evil that stirs to the north, near enough to the relentless machinations of the Old One, whose shadowed hand stretches south, whose voice rides the wind like a sickness, whispering rune. Ayuz is readying himself, ever testing the good king's defenses. But in a few short years, things will change for the good people of this land. The small skirmishes along the Veng River will swell like blood from a wound. Philiomena will bleed, its good people caught in the teeth of war. Ayuz will send forth his dead, his cursed, his corrupted, and they will flood the fertile lands of Crystal Reach, pushing southward into Calistran like a blood tide. War is looming in Philiomena, and the people know it. Like a body braced for a blow, it knows it cannot escape. But that's a story for another time. This here is a different kind of tale, one of opportunity and gumption. The year is 579 common year thereabouts, and we find ourselves rambling down a dusty road about 30 or so miles south of Crockport. Rickety old cart driven by a hobgoblin, a couple of outlaw types on horseback, making to intercept their prize. The sun hangs low, a dim scar in the sky, and as you ride in its shadow, your instincts are sharp with unspoken intent. For miles now, you've watched the Philiomena caravan, a slow, lumbering wagon burdened with too much weight and too much purpose. It's guarded, of course. Everything's guarded these days. It's taken the honor from men, left them only to the business of killing. This isn't about that war, though, not for you. Your motivations are far simpler. Revenge, power, fate, respect. Take your pick. There's plenty of justification for what happens next. Regardless, you know the score. A major shipment of significant value on a fast-paced route from Chendal, courtesy of the Crockport Merchants Guild, an organization corrupt and devious in their own right. What's more satisfying than robbing from a bunch of thugs hiding under a cloak of legitimacy? I wager the hefty sum of coin that the Wretched Steel Gang is going to pay you for the job might make the list. Snatch and grab, get rich. This ain't your first rodeo. Nick the cargo and make for the Wretched Steel hideout at Lake Erston. Escort the loot to Crockport along the old smuggling routes and get paid. Pile of coin, 1,000 gold coins to be exact. Get this done and you'll gain favor with the gang, deal a substantial blow to the guild, leverage your score into something bigger. And if anyone gets in your way, well, they'll just die like the rest of them done. This is the moment where the world shifts, where lines blur and you find yourselves on the knife's edge between fortune and ruin. There's no righteousness here, only what you take. My friends, as we zoom in on our 4 outlaws, I would like you each to roll initiative, please. Let's go.
Okay.
Right.
Initiative.
A D20?
Yep, D20 plus
yes.
your dexterity. All right, and then I will call out some numbers and you can tell me what you got. So does anybody have 25 to 20? Thank you, Vamp Wickman. Each of our players now has an advantage. You guys keep track of it on your end if you don't mind. Advantage allows you to, before you roll with 2 dice and take the better of the 2 D20s.
Vamp.
Thank you so much, Vamp. All right, so does anybody have 25 to 20 on their initiative roll? How about 15 to 20?
Grukka's got the
16.
16.
16.
Ooh,
All
what's your
right.
dexterity?
You got a 16 too?
Yeah, we both got 16s.
Sweet.
All right. 10 to 15.
13.
Okay. And how about Portis?
About 4.
Okay. So Mel at a 13 and tortoise. All right. So as we go down the initiative, what I would like you each to do, as we're racing in on your prize here, this wagon, I would like each of you to tell us who you are, what we see visually, what you might be thinking in your head at this moment with what's about to happen, and in order to influence the outcome, what you might have done ahead of time to help with this job. And we're going to go ahead and start with Philomena.
You all would see a half-elven woman riding on a white and gray dappled horse. She's pale, has red hair that's flowing behind her, and fiery eyes that are staring ahead with purpose. There is a nervousness within her, but like when you haven't eaten for hours and finally get food in front of you, there is equally this hunger, this excitement for what is ahead and for what they're about to do. As for what she did ahead of time, she scouted out the people that were going to be on this caravan, figured out what they look like, and as she's riding, her form changes into one of them.
Very cool. All right. In response to that, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. Oh, I don't think my perception's great.
That's okay.
14.
Okay. That's a good start. Okay. Awesome. So Philomena ride in Dodie, her horse, into whatever might happen next. Let's then go to Grukka.
Okay. Well, Grukka, what you see is what you get, but what you're getting right now is he is this large, rather large, orange-hued hobgoblin. He's got one of those dusty cowboy hats. His ears are poking through the brim. He's got chainmail on, but he's wearing a sleeveless duster, flapping in the wind as he sits in the seat next to Porthos, and he's jabber-jawing away to Porthos how to handle Anvil, his mule. He says, to get him to go faster, you yell out different cuts of meat. Porterhouse, flank steak. He'll go faster, trust me. He knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, no.
As for what I'm thinking, dear Lord, how did I get stuck with these people? But
Fair.
Are we doing what we're bringing to the party?
Yeah. What you did ahead of time to help with what's about to transpire?
Well, Portis
What's up, flea monkey?
Portis and I are sitting in the we're in the front of the wagon. You know, it's not too big of a cart, but it's big enough. Anvil is trotting away as fast as he can, and in the back, the reason why he's trotting away, he could be going faster, is that underneath the tarp in the back that we're going to use to hide the goods we're going to get away with, is a rather large harpoon. The harpoon has several hundred feet of rope with a really, really, really big rock, and he's hoping if we need to, we can shoot the harpoon at the caravan, the main wagon, either hit a wheel or hit the side and then drop the rock off the back. It'll stop, hopefully, pretty well.
Okay, go ahead and give me a strength check as you prepared this hefty package to deliver, if you will.
Strength check, okay. That's +4. 16 +4 is a 20.
Ooh,
total.
dirty 20. Very, very, very strong. You're so strong. All right. Thank you, Grukka. And next we'll go to Mel Draven.
So, what you'll see of Mel is not a lot. She's elven, but she's not your typical elven race. All you can basically make out from her is her bright purple eyes and tufts of white snow hair, riding this black stallion named Phalar after her dead brother. Also thinking, how did she get stuck with those people? How did I end up here when I've got one thing on my mind? I've got one goal that I have to complete. But here I am anyways. what I did to help with the party was to basically sneak in the shadows just to get more information on who we were going up against, what was in this wagon, and where the destination was. Because that's what I'm good at, is getting information.
Oh yeah. Give me a stealth check. The shadow. Now, if you recall, oh, go ahead.
Trying to think. Now, would that be dexterity, basically?
Yeah, so it's if you're proficient in stealth, so you roll a d20, add your proficiency bonus and your dexterity together.
Okay, that is a 17.
Okay, and just for future reference, if you look in the list of skills that you have, stealth is towards the bottom. They're all alphabetized in that long list of skills on the left-hand side of your character sheet. Yep. All right, so you said a 17?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. You know, you'll recall from all of the prep work that your team did that Philiomena got an inkling of some sort of an important shipment coming into Crockport, being transported by the Merchants Guild. With that information, Portis was able to gather some additional detail from his man, Carver, one of the Wretched Steel gang members who he has a bit of a relationship with. Gathered some additional details from him, and with that information, Mel, Draven, the Shadow, you snuck your way into the darkness to overhear conversations. You found out that this particular caravan was going to be heavily guarded. At least 4 to 6 individuals. A secure wagon with a ballista attached to the top of it. With that, we're going to go to Brother Portis.
So you see sitting aside the orange, furry, large, muscular figure who's driving the wagon. A big boned woman in a bit of a heavy outfit with really heavy blue eyeshadow, a long black hair with like page boy bangs, and laughing and patting the driver on the shoulder and then saying, "Stop saying my name, it's perfect," as we carry on across the terrain towards the caravan. And as we get closer, I'm thinking, I'm way outside of my element. I shouldn't be this far exposed, putting myself at such risk. This is not a good idea. This is probably not something I should have done. I should have stayed back and maintained my responsibilities at the church and stayed where I knew what I was doing. And I'm out here with ridiculous weaponry and all sorts of nonsense going on, trying to pull this off. And the thing that I did, however, of course, was disguise myself before I went on this trip.
Ooh, very nice. Let's get a deception roll from our Brother Portis.
All right. You'd think I'd be better at it. Oh, but it allows me to use my disguise kit. Allows me to use my proficiency.
Yes.
So that is an 18 minus 1 is 17 plus 2 is 19.
Okay, that's some good math right there. I love it. Okay. You, despite the dust and the wind, the bumpy road, all of this, you have maintained this very well thought out and well implemented disguise. And just for the rest of us, what is your alias that you're using at this moment?
Portia.
Sure. Okay, I love that. That's great. All right, so as you roll in on these individuals, we're going to go down the initiative order. Now, I'm going to bring you into a map here. Now, of course, it's a static map, but you're going to use your imaginations like we do in TTRPGs, and everything is moving, right? The stage coach is moving. You can see there are 2 riders, one in front, one behind. There are 2 people on top of the stagecoach as well. One of them, a man in what appears to be, as you expected, a ballista, The other seems to be sitting, just taking in the sights, keeping an eye on things. As you come into view and start to close the distance, they stand up and they sling a bow from over their shoulder into their hands, and they nudge the ballista gunner to rouse them from perhaps their lethargy on this ride. But you can tell that these two individuals in front of, the one behind and the one in front, are vigilant and riding in a bit of a guard position. So I will go down the order here as we get into this. Philomena, what would you like to do?
As she is disguised as one of these individuals, she's just gonna whistle and get their attention and start riding up.
Okay. Yeah, you can easily close the distance with this rear rider if you'd like to.
Yes.
Okay.
They haven't asked me anything, so I'm not gonna speak yet.
Yep, you just
But
whistle and get their attention.
Yeah.
Give me another deception check as you're riding up on them.
Can do. I'm good at this, I hope. I'm not good at this.
Uh-oh.
That's an 8.
Okay, so as you get up there, I don't know how close you can move your token around, you and Dottie,
All right.
by just grabbing. But yeah, figure out like where you want to be next to them as you're riding up. You give a nod and a whistle.
Yeah, think about there. I think that's good.
Okay, and they kind of turn over their shoulder and look at you confused, and then and they're gonna have their own reaction here in a minute. Let me get them into the initiative as well. Okay, all right, all right. So they look at you and they just a raised eyebrow, like, who the hell's this? And then we'll go over to Grukka. Grukka, you are currently piloting this wagon coming in from the side here. What would you like to do?
I immediately hand the reins over to Portia, and I'm gonna grab that. I figure a harpoon is similar enough to my expertise with a crossbow and certain types of weapons, and I'm gonna just pick it up. Doesn't matter, and I'm just gonna aim that sucker right at the side of that stagecoach.
Okay.
Fired.
All right, so you're going for the coach. Go ahead and so you are you're proficient like spears and that sort of thing, martial weapons, all that good stuff.
And crossbows and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Weapons. All right, so yeah, you can use it as a dexterity-based attack. You'll need to get a little bit closer, so we'll move you guys up a little bit as you get like right about here, closing the distance.
Yep. Yeah, that's perfect. And I'm just gonna. I'm not sure. I'm assuming, with my character sheet here. What am I looking at?
Just go ahead and roll D20 and add your dex and your proficiency bonus.
Okay. That's 18 total.
18 total. All right. If it meets, it beats. You hurl this massive spear, almost javelin throw style, out of this wagon. I'm gonna have Portis roll a animal handling check for me, please, to maintain control of the beast.
I'm doing the reins like I was shown, and I'm just like, leg meat, butt steak, and yeah, that's gonna be 6.
Okay. All right. So you actually drop the reins, and as this is happening, you feel the shift of Grukka's weight as he hurls this thing. Grukka, go ahead and give me a D10 roll and add your strength modifier for your dex modifier for damage on this.
D10. Okay. And my strength modifier?
It'll be your dexterity modifier.
I'm my dexterity. Yeah.
Yep.
That'll be total 8 points.
Thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. 8 points of damage. Okay. So you throw this thing in, it hits into the side of this thing. You watch as from the impact, the wagon kind of shifts a little bit, and then the horses kind of pull it back into its track as it's moving. You now have, as the rope is like spiraling out from by your feet, this rope that you've attached to it. You feel the wagon shift as Portis loses control of the wagon, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please, Grukka.
Okay.
Oh no!
This is already going so well, you guys.
If I go off to say I'm taking the rock with me that the rope is tied to.
All right.
Let's go.
Okay, so dexterity check.
Saving throw, dex save.
I'm sorry, dex saving throw.
Yep.
All right, I roll.
Mel's just in the back going,
I don't care what kind of modifier I have. I rolled a 3 on the die.
Oh no! All right, so Grukka, you actually fall out of the wagon, taking four points of bludgeoning damage as you do. So you kind of fall off here. We'll say on this side. Oh my god! No. Give me a D6 roll. This is unorthodox. 1 through 3, you have the rock. 4, 5, 6, you don't have the rock.
I rolled a 1.
Okay, so as you fall out, you reach and grab the rock and you fall out onto the ground, taking damage. Portis is busy trying to maintain control. Grab the reins. We'll come to you in a minute, Portis, because you're gonna have to take care of some business here. But you kind of go off the trail a little bit and into we'll say sort of like paralleling into the rough. You're in the rough, as they say. And we'll go to Mel next. Mel, what are you doing while all this is happening?
So Mel is kind of at least a little bit flabbergasted, but she doesn't let it know. She's like, what? But she knows that she's got a job to do, and she's going to try her best to do it. So she's going to come on the other side of Philiomena.
Okay.
And try to get parallel with the other person on the horse.
Yep.
And she's gonna shoot her short bow at her.
Okay. Oh, good. Now, are you proficient in animal handling by any chance?
No, I'm not.
Okay, perfect. So go ahead and make the shot. It's going to be at disadvantage as you're trying to basically pinch the horse between your knees and take a shot with your bow.
Okay. Let's see.
Perfect.
So I got a 9 plus my animal handling, so a 10 total.
It would be it's 9 plus your dex.
A 9 plus my dex. Okay,
Yep.
So that is 12.
And it's at disadvantage. Are you familiar with disadvantage? You roll 2 20s and you take the lower of the 2.
2 20s. Okay.
Yep.
Oh well, I mean, I got a 1 on the second one.
Oh shoot! Go ahead and roll a dex saving throw, please. This is going so well.
I think that's a 10. I have +6 for my saving throw. Yeah, 10.
Okay. You start to slip off and your foot gets stuck in the stirrup and you fall to the side, but you do drop your bow. You are able to maintain your upright position somewhat on the horse, but you drop your bow as it just falls to the ground as you keep on moving. Of course, everything is moving at a fast pace right now. And the shot does not connect. We will go next to them, actually. So this individual in the back that you attempted to take a shot at right here is going to pull out a bow themselves and is going to take a shot at you, Mel, as you started to instigate the attack, blowing whatever kind of deception or subterfuge that Philiomena was coming up with, but they are going to roll. Yeah, they fire at you an 11. Does an 11 hit your AC, Mel?
My AC is 15.
Okay, so the shot goes wide as you kind of duck out of the way, and the arrow flies past you. The ballista gunner is going to take a shot at the wagon. Let's get that up here. Ooh, okay. I just rolled a natural 20 against your wagon. Yeah, that's not great.
What kind of outlaws are we?
We're warming up. We're getting warmed up.
New title.
Getting warmed up.
Outlaws.
Um,
You're
the
one of
the
the
shot
outlaws.
is a massive hit, Portis, and it knocks the front wheel off, and it just starts to grind into the ground as the entire thing kind of comes to a halt. So
I'm just
on the
watching.
upside, you're not in danger of falling off, and you don't have to worry about grabbing the reins back because it is careening, and then it comes to a terrible halt there on the side. You look back, you see Grukka, and the cart is pretty well damaged. We'll go to you, Portis. As this all happens, what are you doing?
Well, things have changed
Scream like a
from a
girl.
moment ago. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to use a bonus action and cast Shield of Faith upon myself
Okay.
and increase my armor class to 15. So as the wagon grinds down and comes to a stop, and the reins go snapping out of my reach and fall limply around Porter House. I don't remember the
Portia.
donkey's name is.
Oh,
The donkey.
Oh, the horse is Anvil.
Anvil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, leg, eyeball, whatever kind of meat. Just mumble under my breath, shield spell, and this shimmering thing, force field goes around me, and then I hop off and I start running. And I'm going to use my action to dash toward
Okay.
the wagon.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can close the distance. Getting about there. Again, everything's moving by you at a pretty fast pace, so it's gonna blow past pretty quick. But you will have an opportunity on your next turn to be in somewhat proximity to the thing.
Grab on. Okay.
Yep.
All right. That's what I'm doing.
All right, we'll go back to Philomena. Philomena, you saw this unsuccessful exchange between these two riders. What do you want to do?
Philomena's pretending like she helped shove Mel off of her horse in this moment and yells to the other person. They're trying to get the fucking words. Oh my god, it left my brain. No.
You said it, sister.
They're trying to get the shipment. And as I say that, I'm gonna cast Charm Person at 2nd level
Okay.
on the person I'm riding next to and one of the people on top.
Okay, so you can get 2 of them. And that is, I'm guessing, a wisdom saving throw. Okay.
Yes, and the DC is 13.
Okay, so the individual next to you, I got a dirty 20. And then
Ah, damn.
which there's 2 individuals on top of the wagon. Which one are you? The gunner or
Whichever one
the
is, yeah, the gunner. Whichever one
Okay.
is arming on the harpoon.
tell me how you well, no, I will say this. They failed. They're looking confused as they had the ballista kind of like they're getting it loaded again, and they're sort of aiming it in your direction. They swing it around towards probably towards Portis. Sorry, Portis. Portia. They're looking for a target, and you were in their sights, but now they're not because I rolled a 6.
As she calls that out, within his eyes, as he's looking at her, she meets his gaze, and the same fire that's kind of in hers alights in his, and there's just this dull glow behind his eyes. And I'm gonna continue to ride up to try and get to the cart.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna pull past. Yep. And you can get right up behind it. All right. I love it. It's kicking up dust. It's kicking up rocks as it's barreling down. It seems as like whoever is driving this thing, it has increased the speed as they're trying to push past. We'll go to Grukka next. Grukka, you're on the ground, prone. You can stand up for half your movement. And then what would you like to do? You've got a rock. The rope is rapidly spiraling out and getting to the end of the rock.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting to see if this thing's gonna stop, but I am going to dash. I'm going to use my bonus action to dash, actually. Just the way Brother Portis was doing, I'm chasing after the thing, but I will grab my hand crossbow. I'm going to take aim at one of the guys on top of the wagon.
Are you leaving the rock behind?
Well, the rock is tied to the rope, so I'm hoping that it's gonna
Yeah.
affect the, when,
Just
when
like
the
an
rope gets
anchor.
caught, I'm hoping it's gonna affect a little bit, kind of
You
an
got it.
anchor a bit. Even if it drags a little bit, it's gonna slow him down.
You got it.
But yeah, that my next thing was gonna be basically I whip out, I grab my hand crossbow. I'm gonna take a little aim and I'm going to shoot. Doesn't matter. This guy right here, the one who's not doing anything.
Yep, they've kind of got like a bow that they were loading a bow basically.
All right. So, D20 plus paint crossbow. There's a 14 hit.
14 does not hit.
All right. So he has a crossbow bolt whizzes by his, between them.
Okay. All right.
We can't do anything else. So
Okay.
I've moved forward. I've dashed. I'm not sure where the train is going to be, but I'm trying to.
I'm gonna say because you rolled and you got a dirty 20 on that strength check at the beginning of the session, with the rock and getting the
Right.
the harpoon and everything put together. It's a big rock. It's a real big rock.
Oh yeah, Grukka don't go small.
No, absolutely not. Go ahead and give me a D20 roll, please, Grukka.
Just a straight D20.
Yeah, this has to do with the wagon right now.
13.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And on your turn, as the rope tightens to its full extent and the rock begins to drag a little bit, the wagon starts to veer off to the right as the horses are pulling it. But it is definitely being turned. It's like doing a big circle as the horses are pulling it, and it's coming to a stop. It's not quite stopped yet. You can see the rock kind of dragging on the ground as it's coming past you a little bit, and then it gets lodged into a couple of boulders on this. You can see how there's like boulders strewn about. It gets lodged into some boulders and takes purchase with the size of the rock and your roll. You've got it anchored, and it looks like it's probably going to come to a stop unless they can cut the rope. Anything else, Grukka? Do you want to race forward or do any other movement? You still have like half your movement.
Yeah, I was dashing forward to it. So, like I said, it's one of those things where the next turn I'm kind of reaching up as it's coming to a halt, basically.
Okay. All right.
I know this thing is kind of progressively moving. So.
Yep, everything's kind of moving. So then we will go to. We're going to go to this individual. They're going to race past and thread the needle between the two of you. I will say that because of the proximity, if you wanted Mel to take an attack of opportunity, you could. It will be because of the lack of proficiency riding a horse, it'll be at disadvantage, but you can certainly do it. Just don't roll another 1. Would you like to take an attack of opportunity?
We had another plan.
Okay, you don't need to do it. This is a free reaction though. It doesn't take the place of your action. This is something that no.
Well then, heck yeah, I'm gonna take
it takes place on their turn.
Yep.
Heck yeah, I'm gonna take an attack of opportunity.
Okay, so you're gonna try to do. Well, you don't have a bow, so you'd have to draw another weapon.
So
Drop your bow.
Do unarmed. Is that person in enough reach to where I can do an unarmed strike?
We'll say yeah. It's going to be a disadvantage anyways because of the just the scenario with you on a horse and not really having proficiency riding or with animal handling and riding horses. So go for it. Yeah, you can take a swing.
All right, so I'm gonna do a damage.
Roll to hit. This is going to be a strength-based attack.
Okay, so let's see. That's 7 plus 3. That's 10. And then you said do another one, the lowest of the 2?
Yep, do another one, yep.
Okay, so it'll be a 10 for the unarmed.
10 total. A 10 is going to miss as they ride past you. You just kind of swing out with your fist and they ride right past you. I will say, Philomena, you also have that opportunity should you want to make an attack as they're threading right through. And
no,
they
we're
are...
friends. We're buds. I'm on their team.
Right. They are going to come up on Grukka as they reach down and try to, let's see, they also have a, yeah, they're going to reach down with the rapier. This is going to be a disadvantage attack, Grukkas. They're going to take a swing at you. That is a natural 1. I'm going to roll a dexterity save to see if they can stay on there. No. Okay, so they are going to fall off. They fall off, and their horse keeps running and just like goes over here probably to see what's happening with this horse. They fall to the ground and they're going to take some damage as well. Okay.
These horses are dangerous.
Yeah, especially when you don't have animal handling skill. Okay, so that's theirs. This guy is going to turn around and come back this way and get right about there and is going to take a, he's gonna stop his horse and pull out this crossbow, this heavy crossbow, and is going to take a shot at Portis. The heavy crossbow.
No.
Portia. I don't think that's going to hit Portia. That is a 7.
No, it gets stuck in my robes.
Yeah, you see it all happening in slow motion as they rein their horse, spin around, stop, take a shot, and you just sort of like sidestep out of the way as it gets caught in your robes.
No.
Let's see, the gunner is actually going to draw a longsword and just sort of like prepare themselves. This individual is going to step here and take a shot at Grukka with a bow. Grukka, that is going to be a 16 to hit.
If it meets, it beats.
Okay, so you take a well-fletched arrow into the chest. It has like this red and gray fletching on it. You notice that it's well made, of course. And that is going to be a total of 6 piercing damage. You can hear shouting from inside the wagon as now you're realizing, Portia, that you cannot see the driver of this particular. They're sealed inside of this structure. That's their turn. I believe it is Mel's turn next.
Okay. She basically sees Grukka in trouble, but she figures she could possibly get him in a better situation. So she rides up and tries to grab Grukka by the scuff of his clothing on the back and hoist him up and possibly throw him onto the wagon.
Well, first of all, is Grukka interested in being thrown up onto the wagon? Or up onto the horse, I should say. Oh, you're gonna throw him up onto the wagon itself.
Yes.
Oof. Okay.
Up top.
Yeah, that's gonna be extremely difficult to do, I would say.
Okay, well then we'll just focus on grabbing him first.
Okay. He's a big boy. He's a real big boy, this hobgoblin.
That's okay, I'm strong.
Okay, so Grukka, are you willing and able to be grabbed and thrown around at this point?
I mean, Grukka's got someone right in front of his face, and he's got someone shooting at him, apparently from behind or
Yes,
in front.
there is. You do have someone right here who just fell off their horse and is prone on the ground. But they're getting up.
Grukka really, he's got blood in his eyes. He really wants to fight this guy down here. He really wants to beat his ass.
I would say, Mel, with your intuition, you would see that Grukka is already turning to go after this individual on the ground, and that Grukka has a plan. So you quickly shift your strategy.
So she's just gonna run past and get right up next to the wagon. I guess she's gonna use her full movement just to get right up next to the wagon.
You can easily get to the wagon. In fact, that doesn't take your full movement. The wagon is kind of skidding to a stop from this massive, well-placed anchor that's dragging behind it. So you can get to it, and if you wanted to, you can still take an action. You're riding alongside of this thing as it's sort of slowing down and being pulled. What would you like to do?
Am I in enough proximity to, I guess, pull out? Oh my gosh, I don't want to pull out my other weapon.
Let me paint a picture for you. So, like, you're riding up alongside, and the top of the wagon is like up above by like 3 feet.
Okay.
Yep. So you could, there's like taking a shot up might be tough. Jumping onto the wagon or some other assault might be possible.
Let's see. I have no idea. I'm kind of stuck. Oh, can I just use my full movement just to get as far as I can go?
Absolutely. And I will say there's also a combatant here that just took a shot at Portis.
Okay.
You might be able to close the distance there with that horse. I would say you could probably close the distance and get up next to this guy if you wanted to. A lot of options here.
Like right about there?
Sure.
Okay. I'm good with that.
You could even get up right there if you wanted to take a swing at him. Do you have a bladed weapon or any sort of melee weapon?
I do.
If you want to take a swing, you're more than welcome to.
All right. I'm definitely going to take a swing then with my short sword.
Let's go, Mel.
I'm going to try and hit something this time. Try not to fall off.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. That is a 19.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage. You come in swinging.
That is a 5 total.
Okay. You cut through this guy and blood just splatters across the ground. Some of it on your horse, some of it on his horse as he winces from the pain. Are you planning to ride past him, or have you kind of come to a stop next to him?
I'm gonna come to no, I'm gonna ride past him.
Okay, so you're still moving as he kind of came to a stop, took a shot. You come in, cut him. Portis, it's your turn. Portia, I should say.
Yeah. So as I run up to the wagon, or I'm pretty much at the wagon, am I not? I'll just close a few feet to the wagon, and I will cast command at 2nd level on the 2 figures on the top, point to what I think is the opening, and say, "Open! Open!"
Okay.
And, yeah, so it's a wisdom saving throw, a DC 13.
Now, does this affect an individual specifically, or is it
I'm targeting both of them with 2nd level.
All right, so 15, you say?
13.
13. Let's see. One of them is going to make it, it looks like. So the gunner makes it with a 15, and the archer loses with an 11, fails with an 11.
Excellent.
So they are commanded, and they are also you can't really see this from your position down on the ground as you're running forward and shouting up, but they happen to be right on top of this port. So they reach down and start to open it up.
Excellent.
And you hear shouting from inside.
If I can use my movement to climb onto the wagon. Is that possible? Like maybe half my movement?
Absolutely. You can go ahead and make an athletics check for me as you point, call out, and then jump up onto the side. There's rigging on the side, so there's some ropes. There's some netting that holds cargo down. And you reach up to grab onto that as this wagon is still kind of moving and skidding to a halt. This is all kind of happening at the same time, and you reach up and like some sort of a superhero nun, and you grab onto the side.
I'm going to use
Sister Portia.
I'm going to use my reroll from Vamp because I got an 11, so I'm going to reroll it.
Okay, sounds good. And just for in the future, those advantages, you need to declare those at the beginning before you roll. But go ahead and you can do it this time.
But it didn't do me any good because that's an 8.
Oh shoot. Okay. Well, we'll
if it's
say
an
this.
advantage though, so I take the 11, right?
You take the better of the 2. So an 11 total. Okay. Yeah. So you reach up and grab on. You don't make it all the way up, but you start to climb up. So you're hanging off the side of this thing as it's now coming to a stop at the end of this round. We'll go back to Philomena. Philomena, you can see that the wagon has come to a grinding stop. You look over, you see the horse cart that your companions rode in on is damaged, also has like toppled over, the horse still attached to it. There is a horse racing off into, you know, the pastures well beyond. This individual here is still trying to stand up and will be on their feet again shortly. And Mel just rode straight up towards this other guard and just slashed at him. What would you like to do? You can see Portis like hanging and climbing up the side of this thing.
I'm dismounting quickly and running up to the back. And as I go to grab onto either the doors or the cloth or whatever is kind of covering, my face melds into the person that's on the ground as an action disguise self, and I'm gonna climb in and yell, "They're attacking! People are attacking!" And just run in and
Okay,
see
so
what's inside.
So you're getting up on top of the wagon is what you're doing.
Either if on top is the only entrance, then yes.
You do a quick scan as you were riding up. You can see there are no entrances on the side. It's all enclosed. There are maybe some little slits possibly that look into the interior, but it's really dark and difficult to tell. So probably the best thing here would be to get on top of the wagon.
Then I'm getting on top with Portia.
All right, yeah. So go ahead and give me an athletics check as you jump onto the rigging behind and start to pull yourself up.
Come on. That is a 10.
Okay, so same thing as Portis. You've gotten onto the rigging and you're climbing up. You will not make it to the top this round, but next round you will be on top and have
great.
an ability to take an action at that point. Grukka.
Fantastic.
Grukka is facing off to this guard apparently on the ground with him, the one that came off the horse, I guess.
Yep.
And he's just gonna reach over and he's just gonna grab his great sword, and in just one move, he's just gonna come in and he's gonna take a nice hefty swing at this guy.
They're getting up off the ground. They're like, no! And you come in swinging. Go ahead and roll an attack. This will be with advantage because they're prone.
Okay. What's my bonus? 12 plus attack here with my great sword. 12 plus 5. Okay, 17.
17 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage. What's up, everybody in the chat? Thanks for being here, you guys.
Damage on a great sword is 2d6, and I get to add 3 to that. So what do I get?
Heck yeah.
That is a 5 and a 4 is 9 plus 3 is 12.
12. Go ahead and describe for me how you end this individual.
Literally, he just, like I said, he grabs that greatsword, he pulls it up off its little, spot on his backpack, and he just, like almost like a samurai, he just does one big swoop, and he just literally just cuts this guy right in half.
Two pieces that were once joined together fall to the side, and a gout of blood sprays on the green grass as you look down at a lifeless body and turn, and you can see as you turn around and look back to the wagon, your companions, Sister Portia and Philiomena, climbing up the side of the rigging. Very nicely done. You still have movement, so
yeah. I turn around, I see them climbing. I don't see anybody. There's no other bad guys except for the ones that are on top. But yeah, I guess I glance over. I see Mel having just kind of did the little pass by of that other guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking to myself that this guy probably needs to be taken out, and I'm just gonna kind of trot my way over to here with a great sword ready, just in case this guy decides to charge at me.
Okay. I like it. Putting yourself in between also his previous target, which was Portia. Perhaps kind of giving some sort of cover.
He had a crossbow, you said, right?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, he had a heavy one, so you probably won't be able to reload it. But either way, yeah, I kind of get in the way there.
All right, so Mel, you it's your turn next, and you have sort of ridden past this guy. What would you like to do? Do you want to come back around?
I was thinking that he stopped, so I kind of want to like go right back around him and do another drive-by slash.
Okay, yeah, you can totally do that.
Oh, I don't know how to. Okay.
I'm gonna spin you around. There you go.
I'm gonna go at him with my short sword again.
Anybody in the joust?
So that's
Yeah, this is like joust practice right now.
Yes. So that's a 9. I don't know if that hits.
So that was a strength-based attack. You're striking with a sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so total with all your modifiers, it's a 9. That does not hit as you come swinging in, and he's kind of like looking over his shoulder as you spin around behind him, and he dips out of the way as you swing. You probably get like right up next to him right here as you swing. Are you still moving? Is the horse are you still riding fast, or are you kind of slowing down?
I'm still moving while I'm trying to.
All right, so you probably move past him. He is going to take an attack of opportunity as you are moving. So let me give him an attack here. That's cocked. No, that is not going to hit. That's an 8. Definitely doesn't hit you as he swings with a dagger out of the side scabbard. That was Mel's turn. Portia. You can use your movement to climb up the rest of the way if you want to get up on top.
Okay, I do. I climb up the rest of the way, I get up on top, and then I drop hammers into both hands out of my sleeves.
Ooh.
And I charge the guy standing up there, and I want to use my first attack to try to shove him off the top.
Which one of these two are you shoving?
The one that's closest to the... Okay, I see. There's one to my right. The one to my right, the one that's right there.
Here?
Yeah, flying sword. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, go ahead and give me we'll call this a strength-based attack. It's a melee shove attack, basically.
Right. All right.
With the intent of pushing them off of the wagon.
That is a total of 18.
Yeah, totally. You push this individual they see you come in. They look at you for a second with a kind of a quizzical look, and then as the two hammers drop into your hands and you come barreling forward and push them off, their eyes go wide and they flip backwards over the side. Go ahead and roll a d6 for me, Ty. They're going to take some damage as they fall.
5.
Ooh, very nice. Yeah, you hear a as they land on the ground. You don't see them anymore because it's a big drop, but you successfully push them off, took their position. You turn around, you can see Philiomena just starting to climb over the edge of the rail, and this individual who looks very confused, kind of looking at you, sweat dripping down their face, looking both directions with a sword in their hand, not knowing what's going on. Anything else from Portis?
I'm not sure I can do this, but can I do my offhand attack for a light weapon as a bonus action?
You can. Yes, awesome. You can. Yep. You will not be able to add. You won't add your proficiency bonus to that though.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
I will step forward and I'll backhand him with my other hammer. 16.
Actually, yeah, 16. 16 will hit.
Awesome.
Yep.
Portis is a
What,
hammering machine.
Once I get going,
it's hammer time for sure. Flea Monkey called it.
That is 3 points of damage.
3 points of damage to the individual who's charmed. Yes.
They were just commanded, so that's already over. They did the thing, so they weren't charmed, they were commanded.
They're charmed by me.
Yeah, Philomena has this other guy charmed.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I was busy.
That's okay.
I didn't notice.
Yep. All right. Let's see. So how much damage did you do? Sorry?
3.
3 points of damage. Okay. Very nice. All right. That ends Portia's turn. Philomena, it's your turn. You pull yourself over the rail, and you see blood as Portis just put a hammer right into this charmed individual. They look at you and say, "What's going on?"
They're trying to get the shipment. We have to protect it.
Obviously.
And as I'm climbing and I see out of the corner of my eye, Grukka just absolutely cleave a man in half, get up here, and there's just blood. It takes everything in Philomena not to turn paler than she already is. And she's trying to just focus on the mission and focus on what they need to get done. So she's gonna get up to the top and go to the hatch and try to drop down.
Yeah, the hatch is open as Portis is kind of standing there, sort of in a bit of a standoff with this charmed individual, and you push past and you look down and you can see that there's a driver inside who's looking up at you. The driver has brandished a short sword themselves and is like out of their seat as this cart has now come to a stop, and they're looking up at you and saying, "Have you taken care of it yet?"
They're about to come in. I'm coming in with you. We'll defend from here, and I'll drop down.
Okay, you drop in. Give me a deception check with advantage.
Ooh. 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 A 19 and a 20.
Ooh,
Natural.
very nice.
So that's a 25.
25 total. They don't seem to, they do not seem to give any sort of resistance to your entry. They kind of like even help you down into it, and then they reach up with their arm as you drop in to close the hatch. You've used all your movement at this point. You still have an action.
What does the interior look like?
The interior is fairly Spartan. There is a bench where the driver was sitting. There are some foodstuffs, some like personal supplies, it looks like. There are a couple of small crates inside.
I think for my action, I'm gonna get a little distance between me and him, and as I kind of pull back, I'm gonna cast blindness deafness on him.
Okay. Poor guy.
I'm gonna specifically try to blind him.
Okay.
So as I kind of pull back, the shadows within the cart coalesce and begin to slide along the ground and up his legs towards his eyes. And so that's a Constitution saving throw, DC 13.
Yeah, no, he does not make that save at all. So he goes completely blind as the darkness just overtakes him. He's like, what's happening? What's happening?
It spreads into his eyes, and all of the entirety of his eyes, the whites and everything are just black. And I'm looking for the object that we need. But that is my turn.
All right. I will say the one thing that you did notice because you're sort of like taking stock of what's going on, what the supplies are, what the cargo is specifically. You notice that on top of the wagon there are these chests, reinforced chests and crates that were tied down, lashed down with nets over them that were all very well secured. And you start rummaging around. So we will get to your investigation as you on your next turn, as you have done all this amazing subterfuge and infiltration of this thing. The guy is just cowering in the corner. He drops his sword, falls to his knees, and he's just like scratching at his eyes. I don't know what's happening. It's all gone black. We're doomed. We're doomed. And you hear this voice in your head, Ktyria, say, yes, they are doomed, aren't they? And we will go next to Grukka.
Okay. Are they? Oh, they're not going to attack, are they? Apparently, I don't know if they went. But
they're going to go after you. Yep.
Okay. Is the guy with the who is Mel's been kind of playing patty cake with? Is he moving towards me?
No, he is sitting atop his horse. He brought the horse to a rest there, took a shot, and now he's reloading. He's in the process of reloading his heavy crossbow.
I'm just gonna charge at him with the great sword. Figure it's got some good reach, and when I get there, I'm gonna try to do the good old, poke him with the big, long, sharp, pointy metal.
Sounds like a plan. Go ahead and give me an attack roll, please.
Okay. Because I don't like this guy, I'm actually going to use that advantage I had from
Mr. Vamp Wickerman. Thank you, Vamp. I guess this is a good time to inform the chat if you want to help our players out, or the GM. You can donate advantages by cheering bits. 100 bits will grant you an advantage to give to one of the players, and they can use it as they see fit.
Using the advantage, I got a dirty 20.
Definitely hits,
And
even
damage
with
on
all the
that,
bonuses.
Damage is 2d6 plus 3.
Ooh,
It's a great sword, man. It's a great sword.
it's very great.
It's pretty good.
That's a 4 to 3 is 7 plus 3. It's 10 points of damage.
Go ahead and describe how you take this guy off his horse.
I quite literally take the guy off his horse. I literally reach up as I run up there. I thrust it right up underneath, basically going up under his rib cage, and then I just go like that. And I just fling him. I just use him like I stuck him on a pole. And I'm just gonna fling him right off his horse.
He
that's so
drops
cool.
to the ground, flying backwards, drops to the ground. His horse, in response, rears up and takes off running
And
disappears.
Grukka just kind of almost primal, just is like, that's how you take care of the help.
Amazing. I would say that's probably all your movement and everything, but yeah, you took down a second one of these guys, and he just is laying there in a puddle. All right, that is your turn. It is their turn. This individual who was thrown off the top by Sister Portia, aka Brother Portis, aka take your pick, a lot of AKs and A's, is going to assess the situation and run. They are going to run and use their action to dash. And ultimately they will take cover or run away. It's hard to tell. You may or may not notice that, Brother Portis, as they take off running.
Probably not. I'm probably focused on the one in front of me.
Yeah, absolutely. The one in front of you is, I'm going to say, with everything that's going on, he's no longer charmed, first of all.
That's fair.
Yep, and he is, yeah, he's getting his ass kicked here. So he snaps out of that. He is going to turn with his longsword and take a swing at you, Portia. 17 to hit.
Yeah, that gets through.
Okay, this guy's no slouch. That is going to be 7 points of slashing damage as he cuts across. Are you wearing armor, Portis?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So
padded.
he cuts across the padded armor and it just slides off a seam and into some soft fleshy bits, and you can feel the pain and you can feel a wetness beneath the armor. That is their turn. Inside, let's see, this blindness, Ktyria, are they able to make additional saving throws?
At the end of each of its turns.
Okay, so he will attempt a saving throw at the end of his turn as he's just cowering and scratching at his eyes. That is a wisdom, yeah? 15. Or no, con save?
Constitution.
Yep, okay, so 15.
He succeeds. He is
Okay.
no longer blinded.
All right, so he comes to and he looks over at you as you're like searching around. Give me another deception check right now, please.
Okay. I will use my advantage for this.
And he's going to make
This
kind of an
feels
insight.
important.
Yeah, he's kind of insighting right now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. 24.
24,
I rolled
okay.
Another 19 and then a 3.
He looks up and the hatch is still open. He never was able to close the hatch. And he's like, we've got to close the hatch. Oh, they'll take all of us. They'll kill us. And he starts climbing up, and as he looks out, he sees Portis and the gunner up there fighting, and he's going to use his action to pull the thing closed. So the two of you are now enclosed in there, and he slides a bolt across and locks it.
Great.
That's his turn. That brings us to Mel.
Does she see that happening? Him closing them off from everybody, they're locked out.
Probably not, because of where you are and the difference in height of the cart versus where you are currently. You definitely saw as Grukka impaled this rider and threw him off of his horse with his greatsword like a true badass hobgoblin outlaw, and the horse took off racing away. As you're sort of coming around the corner, you see What you can see is Portis and one of the marks on top of the cart of the wagon, I should say, right here. They're going hand to hand combat here. Well, not hand to hand, but melee combat on top of the cart, squaring off.
Okay, so Mel is going to get off her horse.
Get off her high horse.
Yep, get off my high horse. Never. And she is going to basically use all her movement to use as much as her movement she can to get to the cart and start climbing up.
Yeah, and I would say if you wanted to just utilize your horse to get right about here, let me detach you there. Okay. You could use your horse's movement to get over to the cart, and then you could climb up. Give me an athletics check, please.
Okay. Okay. That is a 5.
A 5. All right. So you jump off the horse, reach out, grab onto the rigging, and you're going to start climbing. But you're having a little bit of a hard time pulling yourself up. You'll be able to get to the top of the wagon in your next turn, at the beginning of your next turn. That brings us back to Portis, squaring off with this guy on the wagon.
How dare you hit a woman? And I...
Sorry, ma'am. But you're carrying 2 big, dangerous-looking hammers.
The first one's going into the face. Oh.
He lets his guard down for just a second as you chide him a little bit.
That's a 12.
A 12 is not going to hit him.
I'll use my bonus action, come around to the left again.
Okay.
That's a 17.
That one hits.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. 6 points.
Describe for us how you drop this rude boy who hit a woman with
he slashes through. I yell at him and I swing my right hand with my good hammer and my good hand, and he ducks under it. And as he stands back up, I come back with the left. I just right upside the cheekbone, right by the temple, flat end of the hammer, not hammering him, but just bringing it side handle, whack into the side of his head, and knock him in a circle.
Yeah, I mean this is a fatal wound for this guy.
Crushing the skull.
Yeah. He kind of looks almost like he's questioning what just happened, but you can easily tell you've seen this look in people's eyes before. There's nothing left there anymore. It's just a hollow look, and he just kind of like does this sort of like, and then just falls to the ground, crumples onto the ground next to this ballista. And at this point, go ahead.
Breath, I just say, for Cyril.
Epic. I will say at this point, we will drop out of initiative order as there are no immediate foes in place. You do have Philomena. You are inside Portis. You heard the hatch slam shut. You heard the click of the bolt being put in to bar the door. You know that Philomena is inside with at least one individual. So we'll quickly go to Philomena inside the wagon as we come out of initiative order. What are you doing inside the wagon?
As he closes the hatch and bolts it, her heartbeat is thrumming within her ears to the point where it's almost all she can hear. And she's going to put her hands on his shoulders and look him in the eye and say, "Do you value your life?"
Give me, is this an intimidation kind of situation? Do we want to do an intimidation roll? Or is this more of a persuasive kind of thing?
Persuasion, because
Totally
at
up to you.
this point, she's kind of on his side, so I don't think she's trying to scare him as more as be like, if you value your life, you got to get the fuck out of here right now.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a persuasion and roll it with advantage because of the ensorcelment that you've got going.
15.
Okay. He just looks at you. He looks down at his sword that's on the ground in between the two of you. And for a minute, you think that he's going to go for it. And then he just looks up at you, sweat dripping down, tears coming out of his eyes, scratch marks from his own jagged fingernails. Yeah, I reckon I do appreciate living.
Get the hell out of here. I'll get the payment. I'll get the shipment. You just run. Let people know what the fuck happened here, okay? If I don't see you again.
He looks around. Shit. And he just kind of brushes past you, climbs up the ladder, undoes the latch. Portis, you watch as the hatch opens up, and he looks up at you, startled for a minute. He pauses, and then he pulls himself up out of the hatch.
I command him to give me the document. Wisdom saving throw 13 DC.
Wisdom, you say?
Yeah.
12. He looks at you as you say this, and he looks at you with a concerned and shocked look. Who the hell are you? He reaches inside of his cloak.
I'm Portia, and I need to transport the document safely.
He looks around. He sees his companions, men that he has worked with as part of the Crockport Merchants Guild, men that he came up with, possibly friends of his, maybe not, but nevertheless, people that he knew, that he spent a lot of time with. There's one with a crushed skull laying at your feet. He takes this scroll case from beneath his cloak, and he holds it out and he says, "You even know who you're robbing here, lady? You have any idea what you've just done? Any idea at all?"
Oh, you don't know me.
No, I don't. And I don't care to. And he hands you the scroll.
I stick
He
it
goes-
between the pillows in my upper shirt.
Right down into the cleavage. It's a very good disguise that Portis has right now. As you do that, he just looks over at the dead companions out in the field. He sees this massive hobgoblin dragging a greatsword behind him, walking towards the wagon. And he takes another look at you as he starts to climb down the side. Portis, he looks over and he says, "Magnus Crane's gonna be looking for you. Guaranteed. I guarantee it. He's gonna be looking for all of us. If anybody asks about what happened here, do me right and tell them that every one of us died." He climbs down the side of the wagon, looks around, sees Grukka come in, and just kind of like backpedals a little bit as Mel is sort of climbing up the side, jumps off, and he just runs off into the bush.
Do I know the name Magnus Crane?
It's unlikely,
Any of
but
us,
give me
yeah,
a history
know the
check,
name Magnus
Portis.
Crane. Could we also make one?
I would say
Or would
that
it be more unlikely for us?
Philomena, it's very low likelihood for any of you, but
Okay.
Philomena, you would have heard this guy say this, and probably Mel as well.
16.
Okay. The name doesn't ring a bell for Portis.
Yeah, 14.
That's bad.
No. And Mel, did you want to roll a history check?
That is 8.
Okay. Now, Mel, I have this idea where, and we haven't really talked about it, but I had this idea where whenever you hear a name, a proper name, it tends to pique your curiosity, and just by instinct or muscle memory, perhaps, you pull out this book that you carry with you. Always looking to see, maybe that name's in the book. Maybe there's a connection. And even though you have no idea who this Magnus Crane is, as you open your book, you see a name that was not there before. Not the last time you looked. Sure as shit, says Magnus Crane. And that, my friends, is where we're going to take a break. So let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. We will wet our whistles and stretch our legs, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us and spending some time with us. We really appreciate you. Great to see some of our heroes of Greyhawk hanging out in the chat, getting goofy. We've flipped the script here for the next 5 weeks, and we've got some outlaws that are already getting down and dirty and real gritty, and I am loving every minute of it. We will be back in just a couple minutes, everybody. See you shortly. Hello, everyone. We are back. Thanks for sticking around and hanging out with us. Appreciate you all for being here. Appreciate my players who are kicking some butt in this this new mini campaign that we just started tonight, The Outlaws. Here's a Greyhawk story, and you are our Outlaws of Greyhawk in this case have ridden out south of Crockport, well south of Crockport, about 30 miles as the crow flies, to take on a job that they were given by a gang in Crockport called Wretched Steel Gang. Wretched Steel real keen on recovering some goods that are being shipped. A shipment of high value, they called it, on a fast route from Chendal, escorted and transported by none other than the Crockport Merchants Guild, who, and we may or may not come to realize, has plans and schemes all their own. I'll tease it by just saying they've disrupted some of the power structure in Crockport to some extent. Certainly pissing off the Wretched Steel Gang, which itself is a splinter group off of the local Thieves Guild. But nevertheless, our heroes / I should say outlaws, so used to saying heroes, our outlaws,
Anti-heroes.
our anti-heroes, took down a fairly well-guarded wagon with a shipment of supplies, and now we stand triumphant. There were some casualties on the other side, and there were a couple of individuals that ran off, perhaps to tell the tale of what happened here, which may or may not benefit y'all in the future. But nevertheless, you stand around this wagon or on top of it. What would you guys like to do at this point? I'm assuming that you may have an interest in checking out some of the goods that have been recovered. I will also point out that Portis has a sealed spell scroll that he commanded the driver to give him. And Mel Draven, upon hearing the name Magnus Crane, opened up her strange little journal and found, much to her surprise, that Magnus's name was scribbled inside of the book. Another name. So yeah, my friends, what would you like to do as you're standing here?
So,
I think, yeah, you go right ahead.
So, out of character, do the other people in my party know about my book, or do I kind of keep that secret?
Portis certainly does.
I think Philomena does too, because she helped put some names in it.
Okay. So I look at everybody and I basically just show them, guess who showed up in my book? And I point to Magnus's name in there, saying, now I have a new target.
Who is that? Do you know that name?
Never heard it before.
I probably heard it in information passing, but
I certainly haven't.
I'm fixing to get to know him very well.
Well, from the sounds of it, we'll all be getting to know him fairly well. I'm just disappointed that I don't know the name Tall. It's
From what I
bothersome
could
to not know
hear,
those things.
that last guy that ran out through the ringing in my ears. This guy was scared to death of him.
Well, there's always someone to be afraid of. You're afraid. The idea is to be on the right side of them when they come around.
Well, I'm sure we've done very well at getting on the right side of him. I call out from within the cart.
I kind of like, Grukka hears the voice coming from in the muffled sound of Philiomena, and he's like, we're not done yet. We've got to find what we came for.
Well, you can't be on the right
Philomena's
side of a
searching.
thing like this anyway. You have to be on the right side and the wrong side simultaneously. And then when the next opportunity comes along, you get on the right side of that.
Well, I'm on my side, and my side's usually wrong.
And what are you doing with me?
Because you're cute, like that.
This is a costume, I assure you.
Don't scare me like that. Don't take it off. It's cute.
Let's just get to Lake Erstein. We're going to have to fix these wagons. We're going to have to cobble together something. So someone do it. Someone do something.
Well, we've got the horses hitched up here. The wagon's not damaged much. I can cut that rope. I can take my harpoon back. But what is it we were looking for? Is it a box? Is it
You're the one with the hammer, Portis. Or should I say Portia? Sorry.
It's okay right now, as long as there's no one around. But my hammer's not useful for fixing the wagon, I assure you that. I think that whatever's on the wagon is what it is that we need to take to Lake Erstein, and then on to
She's rifling through.
Rackpot.
Well, my wagon's busted.
Big time.
Yes. It
I
broke.
kind of, while you guys were figuring out, because Grukka's just going to say, well, we're supposed to bring this item to a certain place. I'd say we just bring the whole wagon. I don't want to know what's on this wagon unless it tastes really good. But I'm going to go over to my wagon and I'm going to unhitch. Anvil.
Okay. Easy enough to do as you go over to take care of your horse. You look at the wagon, the front axle is broken. The front left wheel is shattered. It looks like it would take some doing to get that thing back on the trail. Meanwhile, you grab your stuff off of it. Meanwhile, Philomena, you're still inside the wagon itself. And as you look around, you start to rummage through some of the loose items. You can see that there is a box that is set next to where the driver was sitting, and as you look inside of it, there are 3 potions in the small box. Unclear what types of potions they are, but they are potions. As you pull one out and look at it, it's in a small glass vial, and it has sort of a reddish hue to it. You also look about and you see that there is a second box. None of them are latched or locked. As you open it up, you see that there is a bag inside, and inside the bag there are a handful of beautiful gems. You guess it's worth close to 150 gold pieces. At this point, nobody else sees you rummaging through this. Portis on the top of the wagon, and as Mel has climbed up on top of the wagon as well, as I mentioned, you see that there are some secured crates, and there is a chest as well.
Well, Melantha, it can't hurt to look.
I don't mind looking. I have some thieving tools, if it's locked.
Please be my guest. I, however, need to do something about this, and I refer to my bleeding wound, and I will cure wounds on myself.
Very nice. You call upon your divine magic to heal some of your injury. And Mel, as you crouch down in front of the large chest, it has a sizable padlock on it. You've seen these types of locks before.
Okay, so I'm going to use some of my thieving tools to try to get
Okay.
in there.
So you're going to make a sleight of hand check for me, which is in your
Okay.
skill list down there towards the bottom.
So that is a 24.
24. Yeah, you get your thieves' tools, your lockpit kit, and you start to just work it, and in short order, you pop it open. It is now unlocked, yet the chest still remains closed.
Seems like it is locked magically, possibly.
Or you just haven't opened it yet.
Oh. I was trying to think outside the box, but okay.
We'll look inside the box first.
Get in the box!
So, So you said you can hear it click, but it's not open.
The lock is open, but the
Lift the lid.
chest is not.
Surely you checked
Oh,
for
then I left
traps.
the lid.
Maybe check for traps.
But as they're saying this, you open the
don't have-
lid. And
Yeah,
as
I
you
open
open
the
the
lid.
lid, you see that there are, I should say, 4 beautiful swords that are arranged in sort of a slots within the box that hold them upright so as not to be damaged. It is packed with straw to further protect them from any sort of damage. They look as if they're made from a different kind of metal, maybe. They don't look like the swords you're carrying. They're beautiful, and they kind of sparkle with the sunshine sort of glinting off of them at the sharp
Don't
angle
touch
that
them.
it is.
Can I
Leave them
tell
with
can I tell if they have, magical capabilities to them?
How would you be able to tell?
Maybe perception?
Sure. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
That is an 8.
These are some of the nicest swords that you've ever seen. They look as though they have never been used.
So so she looks back at Brother Portis, and she she says to him, she goes, "Have you ever seen swords like these before?"
Not exactly like those. However, knowing who hired us for this job, I assume they're of great value. I wouldn't mess with them.
I say we close this back up and wait until our party is together and we can look at these as a group, figure out what to do with them.
Allow me to just clarify that we've already betrayed one side of the 2 sides involved in this heist. There's another side that we're supposed to answer to. If we betray them as well, it puts us nowhere. You understand what I mean?
But we're outlaws. Isn't that what we normally do?
If we wish to continue to do it, however, darling, we have to fulfill one side of the bargain at a time. If we betray both sides, what are you going to do with swords of this alleged renown if you can't expose them to anyone's knowledge? Do you wish to run the rest of your life? You know what it's like to pursue. Am I right, Melantha?
Yes, but
You know what it's like to
I
pursue.
know what it's also like to run for the majority of my life as well. So I don't see
you wish-
anything different.
Is this taking place inside the wagon?
No,
outside?
they're standing
They're
on
on
top
top.
of the wagon. Philomena, you're
Besides
hearing
the-
this conversation going on, and so are you, Grukka. You can hear it.
The
Grukka
trapdoor
just-
that Portis is standing on starts to shake as she tries to open it.
I step aside.
Grukka hears the conversation and he turns from getting all of his equipment onto Anvil and he turns around and says, "In other words, deliver the goods, get paid, and say thank you."
Fine. Y'all
I
can have
knew
it
there was a
y'all's
reason.
way.
I knew there was a reason that we were together, Gruk. You have fulfilled the curiosity that I had. Good thinking.
Besides, the longer we stay here, the more chances of someone coming back or a follow-up group just to make sure they got where they were going. It's not unheard of for caravans to have tag-alongs.
Also an excellent point.
Philomena tosses up the bag of gems and slides the box of potions. Only 2 potions in it, as opposed to the 3. And very hesitantly climbs up and is looking the opposite way from where she knew people were standing that are probably no longer standing. So we're gonna get out of here, right? Like now, if we can.
Yes.
Yes.
I think the
Great,
plan would be,
great.
I don't think anybody wants to wear one of these bloody uniforms or the outfits these brigands were wearing, but
I'm already wearing one. Not one
you
of
guys
theirs,
with
but
your
it's the
horses, you know,
appearance.
Fortis, you think you can drive this wagon?
I can attempt to do as long as I don't have to continue to call out and meet.
No, we'll go slow. No, these are the 4 horses that they're on. It we'll go slow. I'll ride ahead on Anvil just in case there's anything, further.
I should be able to. And
I'll
we're
ride
going to
on-
Lake Erstein, I believe,
Dundee.
first. Hmm?
Yes, we're going to
Very
do that.
well. We're in accord.
And I'll hop on the Anvil. I've got the horse blanket on it, and my supplies are with me. And
Okay.
I will pass the other 2 potions, one to Mel and one to Grukka. And toss the gems to Portis.
like Grukka literally.
You can
looks
already
at-
heal yourself, so you know.
Grukka looks at Philomena and it literally, when she hands him that potion, he hands it right back and says, "I want no part of that. We don't know if the people we're delivering to has a full accounting of what's on this wagon."
Philomena just nods and very quickly scurries away.
As Brother
To that point, Grukka and others, you also know that there are 2 additional boxes, lock boxes on top next to the chest that have yet to be investigated.
Oh, I'm looking.
They're both locked, so you would need to employ lock picking skills of your rogue if they are so
Yeah, I
inclined.
don't have those. Mel, darling, can you come take a look at these?
If I must.
It might be something useful in there for you. I don't know.
So Mel goes over and investigates and tries to lockpick the lock boxes.
Okay, go ahead and give me another sleight of hand check.
That's a 10.
Okay, the first one gives you some trouble, and you're not sure why. Give me another check, please.
Can't help her with this, can I?
That is a 17.
How? 17. Okay, you eventually get it, and you pop it open, and you can see within this box there is again, it's padded with straw, thick straw, and in the center of this box, on a bit of a wooden sort of stand inside the box, is a spherical shape that is shrouded inside of a felt satchel. It's about the size of Portis's head.
Big then, huh?
Does somebody else want to investigate?
Philomena
my
instantly picks it
guess.
up.
It's surprisingly light. The felt satchel is very well made, double stitched, clean, not a spot of lint on it.
I'll peek open if I can. There's an opening to the felt.
Yeah, you can open it. It's sort of cinched with a leather thong, and you loosen it and you pull it open and look inside, and there appears to be a yellow crystalline sphere. And for
Yeah,
sake
it
of
looks-
brevity, the oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
It looks like a circle.
Three-dimensional at
That's what
that.
she says. What are you gonna say?
I was going to say, for the sake of brevity, there's the last crate that you open up, and inside there are ingots of a very interesting looking metal. Unclear what it is, perhaps, unless one of you may have some sort of background that may lend itself to understanding metallurgy a little bit. But it's ore. It's metal ore of some
Does
kind.
it look similar to the swords, like the metal that the sword's made of?
Yes.
With
If they ask me, or if they're being verbal about, like, we can't tell what this is, Grukka, having grown up for 20 years in a smithy, might have some idea. You know.
Mel,
you mention
would
it?
you maybe ask,
Just
I just gesture towards Grukka. Like, could you maybe ask him about this?
Hey, get
I
up
don't
here and
think we-
come look at this weaponry, why don't you?
Philomena
No,
hides
Grukka's
behind
gonna-
Mel.
Grukka's gonna lumber over, like, kind of acting like he's got a headache, and as he's doing, he's speaking as he does this. He said, "Look, I only watched my dad. I didn't do any work. I don't have any knowledge, but I can take a look. I don't have any actual skill, unless you call making fire a skill." And so he's gonna go look at it. I do have like a +2 on investigation with intelligence.
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
Okay, so it's a +2. Let's see. Oh, okay, an 18 on a die, so that'd be a dirty 20.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, a couple of things. You know it's not gold. You know it's not silver. It doesn't appear to be platinum. It shimmers with sort of a almost the inside of like an oyster shell.
Yeah.
That
That's
mother of
nothing
pearl
precious.
kind of like essence.
I
It
don't
kind of has
identify
a
it as
shimmer.
precious, though.
It
I don't
definitely
think
looks
it's-
like something that you have not come into contact with.
I basically, like, to the people there, I just like mindlessly rattle off what it's not. But I look and I said, well, it's something I've never seen before. And I climb, back down.
With him saying that, in my connection to the Merchants Guild and the things that we used to ship, does anything come to mind?
Ooh, let's do a history check for Philomena.
Come on, girl.
She's been privy through the guildmaster, the governess, to some of the comings and goings of goods that have flowed through Crockport. What did you get? 14? I'll tell you this. If this much hullabaloo has taken place just for a couple of swords and a couple of metal ingots, there's no question this is highly valuable. What exactly it is, not exactly clear, unless there's something else on board or something else that was just as valuable, perhaps. Now, I don't know if Philomena was privy to what happened up on the top of the wagon with Brother Portis / Sister Portia. I guess I'd leave that to y'all to kind of figure out, but it's valuable. That's best you can tell, Philomena.
I imagine I heard the command that Portis had given the man. So I'd probably peer over to wherever Portis is. What was it that you got from him? The guy that ran off.
It was a trifle. Just something that I was instructed to obtain.
Inside.
What are you trying to insight? What are you trying to
Whether
gather?
or not it is a trifle.
Okay. All right. So
Is it something that doesn't?
so go ahead and roll an insight
Everything.
check. Now, Portis, you can roll a deception check in this case. Yep, it'll be contested between the two of you.
So I don't have a great insight, but I did roll a 19 on the dice, so that's a 20.
I rolled a 13 and I'm a -1, so that's a 12. A little bit you know about me, you know I don't deal in trifles of any sort.
Right.
Yeah, but you're in my books for
Portis.
some reason, so what are you being so sneaky about?
Portis, darling. What were you saying to Mel earlier about how we got two sides of this and we gotta make sure we don't betray one of them?
Oh, I assure you I'm not betraying the side we don't wish to betray. I'm merely fulfilling the obligation that I've been assigned.
Oh no, but you're betraying us.
Oh, not exactly. If I fulfill my end of the bargain, the duty that I've been assigned, then it makes us all look good.
Philomena
So-
extends her hand.
I shake it.
Mel gets out her book, opens her journal, grabs out her dagger, walks right up to Portis, points the dagger at his name, and she goes, "Remember, you're in here for a reason."
I don't know exactly what it is. I've just been instructed to obtain it. And it's none of
Then
our
let us
business
see it.
collectively. I pull the scroll case out between my pillow breasts and I wave it around. Don't open it. Don't do anything. I'll just deliver it and we will have fulfilled our obligation.
Is this for the gang, or is this for some other separate situation you got going on for yourself?
It's for the game. It's part of this entire thing. However, I was instructed directly to obtain this and to deliver it directly. I intend to do that.
All right.
You live another day.
I do appreciate that.
Portis, as you take the scroll case and sort of like prepare to put it back into wherever you secure it, you do take a quick glance at it now. You didn't really have an opportunity to look at it closely before, but it's sealed with a wax seal, and on the wax is imprinted what appears to be a bird with a long neck and long legs.
Do I know that insignia?
You have not seen it.
I'll keep that to myself.
And you tuck it back into your very secret hiding spot. So the four of you are sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Oh no, I was just making a joke about his disguise.
Yeah, so the four of you are able to pull together whatever is needed off of the now broken cart, and you salvage as best you can the horses that are still attached to this wagon. And I think, unless the plan has changed, that you're going to take this wagon with you.
Yeah.
Definitely not a dead giveaway that you stole a wagon, but nonetheless, it may be your only source of transport of all of this heavy cargo. You have these strange metal ingots. You've got this crate of amazingly beautiful swords, 4 of them, a bag of jewels, these potions, a box of potions. As you search about the bodies of the slain combatants, you find a handful of coin amounting to approximately 40 gold pieces, assorted coin. Their weapons, they have a variety of weapons, including short bows. There's a heavy crossbow. There are a couple of short swords and a rapier and a whip.
Throw it all right into the wagon. A little bonus for whoever hired us. Maybe they might give us a little bit. But I'm going to take, while this discussion was going, I'm going to take the bodies and the 2 pieces and whatnot. I'm going to throw them into the back of my old cart. And before we decide to leave, finally, I'm going to dump a good amount of oil on it, my bottles of oil, and light the whole thing on fire.
Okay.
Not
Damn.
until we've already started to move, because I'm going to ride ahead anyways. I'm going to try to head with Anvil. I'm not going to tie him to the back of the thing. So we're going to go at Anvil's pace anyways, which is fairly fast now. He's not pulling a wagon.
Okay.
I'd like to petition to divide the gold, the coins among us. That's not part of this delivery.
Yeah, we should get 10
Yeah.
gold.
Very well.
It's certainly been the arrangement in the past as sort of like the collateral sort of treasure and loot that's discovered in the, in the course of doing business, is typically divided. The spoils divided amongst the operators.
Mel didn't break her boat, did she? She just dropped it, right?
Dropped it,
Dropped it.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah,
All right.
I'll drive the wagon.
Okay.
As Philomena kind of gathers Dodie and sees the caravan that's burning, she's going to remember conversation where she mustered the courage to ask Grukka how he manages to kill people, and kind of goes within like 30 feet of the fire and flips one of the golden coins that they had stolen from one of the bodies to it, and just kind of mutter, "Sorry you had to be collateral in all of this," and hop on Dodie and take off.
as we're moving, if she looks ahead to where I am, I'm riding on my my mule, my strong boy. She could see like the shadows, and you can see my head tilting back, like I'm definitely drinking something. Whether it's water,
That
or
checks
a
out.
healing potion.
It isn't
I
either
got-
of those.
I got hurt pretty bad, so I probably could be drinking a healing potion, but I won't. Only Dave and I know that, but I'm not.
Are we managing to rest as we travel for a short rest?
Oh no. Travel
Great,
is
great.
arduous. Yeah, you could settle in for an hour-ish and take a rest if you wanted to. One of you had mentioned something about lingering too long and how that could put you into a sticky situation. You do know that there are, especially here, let me bring up the map here. So if you look on the stream, I have Anna B. Meyer's maps. Big shout out to Anna. Let's go ahead and put a plug for her
Gorgeous.
in the chat here. We are looking at Philiomena here, and you are north of Chendal there. Let me zoom in. North of Chendal, but south of Redoubt. Now, you know, because you're all familiar with this area. Here's Crockport up at the top. That's the area where you guys hail from at the moment. You know that the Baron of Baron Callenstron actually has his castle in Redoubt. That's also where the Callenstron Rangers are stationed. They have a headquarters there. These are, think like marshals, U.S. Marshal style. They are rangers who on horseback who patrol the roads to try to help ensure safe transport of cargoes, especially during times like these where the flames of industry are working overtime to prepare for whatever conflict is just on the horizon to the north. And so getting off of the roads is probably a good idea at this point. But if you want to, you could take a short rest. Could be interesting.
How far is it to Lake Erston?
Lake Erston will take you, it'll take you about 4 to 5 hours of steady riding to get to Lake Erston.
We should continue on.
Yes, I
All
agree.
right. For the record, I'm still disguised as one of the bodies that was thrown into the burning caravan.
That's not creepy
Just
at
putting
all.
that out there.
I mean, if someone's really tired, they can tie their horse off to the back of the thing and climb in and take a rest inside the wagon. But,
No, Mel is gonna be mounted on Phalar, riding at the back of the wagon to try to keep our rear covered.
Very nice. At the very least, you want to get off the road before you take any sort of a rest. Now, when you started this encounter, which was only, a handful of minutes ago, because of the way these things happen, they're quick and dirty. You've spent some time investigating. You've spent some time burning the dead, gathering your supplies. You've now ridden, you're off the road. You've left the well-traveled road and you're sort of going cross country. So it's bumpy, it's uncomfortable. If you're riding in the wagon itself, not a great place to take a rest while you're moving. But the sun was already beginning to set a little bit when this whole thing started. So at some point, you're going to want to probably rest in, find a spot about halfway or so to Lake Erston to get yourself a rest. So you guys travel. Oh, go ahead, Ty.
Someone keeping our eyes open for someone to stop in a few hours, but we should make haste quickly as possible.
Yeah, I'm probably like kind of doing a little circle, coming back a little bit, checking up on, making sure they're all right. And at one point, they're probably saying we need to find a spot. We should find it somewhat secluded. I don't know exactly how the terrain is, if there's if it's small groves of trees or if it's open.
Yeah,
fields.
it's open. It's open grassland, but there are dense thickets of shrubs and sort of scrub brush that grows in these areas. It's rolling hills, so you can travel far enough to the point where you don't see the smoke rising from the funeral pyre. And you get far enough off the road where you feel like you can start looking for a space as the dark starts to close in. You can see the stars beginning to pop in the sky. There's not a cloud in the sky to obscure them. It's a beautiful, beautiful night, though chilly. Go ahead, Grukka, and give me a survival check as you are looking for a good place to rest in, and doing so in a way that maybe keeps you a bit concealed.
Are we really camping out here?
The bonus on that, I rolled.
I'll cast Pass Without a Trace on the wagon.
For like the last so many.
Okay.
It goes for a while, right?
Mel looks at Philomena as she hears
within 30 feet.
As she hears Philomena say that, she goes, "It's the safest option for us to camp out here."
No, I rolled a 10.
Are you sure we can't just push through and get somewhere more comfortable?
You could, for sure. You could push on and just risk it. It's going to be dark. It's going to be a little bit harder to find your way, but you could push on through the darkness and try to make it all the way to the hideout. Absolutely.
No, I think we should stop.
I've never camped before. I feel like laying down on the rough, cold terrain is going to be exceedingly uncomfortable. And after what I've witnessed today, I would really love a nice warm bed.
You could
Sleep in the wagon.
I'll give you a horse blanket.
Horse
But
blanket?
yeah, I look for a place for us to stop. And off the road, obviously, near some shrubbery. And they can rest inside if they want to. When we do stop, I'll be on top.
Okay.
Resetting the ballista.
So there's a bit of a disagreement on whether or not you're going to stop or keep going.
Oh, do you guys want to stop?
I'm just saying, there's been a lot that's happened today, and I'm so glad that we are on this mission and it is going so well so far. But I would really love a nice warm bed to sleep in and not to sleep on the cold ground where there are anything anywhere.
So
and it's dark.
Philomena, you just said it. A lot has happened today. We need our energy to face what happens tomorrow.
I look at Brother Portis.
The disguise peels back like paper that is on fire, like kind of crisps and falls away. And she sighs and looks very unhappy, but climbs up the cart, hooks Dodie to the cart, and climbs up and says, "I'm taking inside." If that is the case.
I'm used to sleeping outdoors.
This sucks, and she closes the hatch.
Hey, Brother Portis, should we stop?
Have you found a place that you'd recommend?
Well, I rolled a 10 on my survival. It's up to Dave if I found a decent spot.
I mean, it looks like a decent camp spot. Whether or not you're going to be concealed from any eyes that might be out on the landscape, hard to tell. You do feel in the back of your mind, you feel a little exposed.
You wanna
But-
keep going.
Melantha, perhaps you know something you can do with the horses away from our camp so that if they're detected or heard, they won't draw attention to us immediately.
So you want me to,
Doty's staying with me.
so what you're saying is you want me to move the horses at a different location?
That is an excellent idea.
I can do that, and I'll stay with the horses. If you
Yes.
suggest that.
That's entirely up to you. I just thought perhaps it would be wise to move the horses away from where we're camping so that if they're heard, they aren't drawing attention to us immediately where we're resting.
Sounds like a fantastic idea. Let's just hope we don't have to need them in a dire situation.
Doty's
That's
staying
fair.
with me.
you hear from the wagon.
We'll leave Doty here.
Sort
I'll
defeats
move.
the purpose, I suppose.
I will take the horses and I will move them a little ways away from the wagon.
Okay. And while all this is happening, Grukka, you're sort of like looking around, and you're the couple of things you're noticing. This is a great spot to lay out some bedrolls. Beautiful night, cold, but stars are just amazing. Some of the best stargazing you've had in quite some time. Also, the wagon itself, rolling across the countryside, has made quite a bit of a trail.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show horse hooves.
Well,
Some sort of witchery.
The horses got the pass without a trace, but the wagon wheels do not.
Oh,
So it just looks like a wagon was rolling across the landscape.
we'll just have to, I guess, make do with this, right? Right, brother?
The best we can. My suggestion that we move the horses away is defeated by this infernal doty being attached to the end of it. But I suppose the only way we're going to get any rest tonight is if we can appease the Philomena.
Well, if Mel's going to take care of the horses, Philomena's. I gesture with my clawed thumb to the wagon, and as I'm doing that, I look at Brother Portis and I say, "How do you split 40 gold pieces 3 ways?"
3 ways.
I'm still thumbing at. Like,
Do
we're
I
still-
hear that?
No, I'm whispering. I'm not. Like,
Okay.
Oh shit! Here we go. Outlaws be outlawing.
I go. I would not mind staying up on the roof. I can recock that ballista just in case something does come, and I do have good night vision. Or dark
Fine with
vision,
me.
we call it in this world.
I suppose we shouldn't have a fire either.
No, but if you need some light, you can probably turn the light on in the wagon and tough up the windows a little bit so the light can't be seen.
I was thinking for warmth, possibly for cooking, but with this costume, I'll be warm enough.
Warm inside if you want to go in with Philomena.
Oh, I'll be
I
alright.
just- If we stop, we take care of unhitch the horses. I guess. Well, I guess if everyone's in agreement now.
Yeah, you've already stopped. Like Philomena's inside the wagon, trying to figure out how she's gonna
Mel's
like
already unhitching the
nest.
horses.
Hunkered
Yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah. Mel has already taken the horses. Not Doty. Doty is still right there nearby.
ma'am.
If Doty could fit inside the wagon, they would be in there cuddling with Philomena at this point, but that is not possible. Unless you have some sort of like teleportation, but that would be real uncomfortable. There's not a whole lot of room in there for a horse.
All of a sudden, like the wheels
Should be my
just
pillow.
spin.
Yeah.
Like 400
What is-
pounds got added to the weight of the wagon.
Portis is going to camp or sleep away from the wagon and everything.
Sure, absolutely. So you guys all, it seems like you're all sort of like splitting up. Grukka is going to be up on top of the wagon near the ballista. Philomena's inside with the hatch shut
And bolted.
and bolted. Portis is off, sort of hidden in the scrub brush, in his, dressed as Sister Portia.
Portia.
Yep, and Mel is off with the horses, keeping them quiet and happy, and staying with them. So you've all sort of like split up into different areas.
Yeah, just figure the job's not done yet. They gotta protect our investment now. We've invested quite a bit.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not gonna say we. Well, I killed a few people
People died.
and 2 witnesses.
2 people ran off. They saw some faces. They definitely saw a hobgoblin swinging a big greatsword. They saw a very fast rider in black armor, black leather armor, attacking. They saw a strange woman with bangs. I don't remember. Yeah, with hammers for hands. And then one of their own betrayed them. So at least 2 of you will go unrecognized. The other 2, well, we'll see. You never know what might happen. Nevertheless, you take your rest. And I would like, let's go with Portis. Please give me a D20 roll.
That grief, 6.
Okay. All right. So each of you in your own way stays alert or not. Each of you in your own way is able to take a long rest through the night, with the sort of sense that someone might be sneaking in on you in the darkness the entire time, knowing how these things work, knowing of the Rangers, the Callenstron Rangers, and their capabilities. It's not ideal that you're out exposed like this, but it's a necessity after a long 2 days ride from Crockport and the vigorous encounter that you had. You're able to take your long rest. Is there anything that any of you would want to do in the night that hasn't already been said before we move on?
I think as she's rolled out her bedroll and tried to make the interior a bit more comfortable, she's laying down and kind of tossing and turning from side to side, and she just can't stop thinking about the blood spray and the halves of bodies, the crushed in skull, just broken, the burning. And I think she has trouble sleeping that night.
Yeah, the weight of it all, the brutality of it, the reality of the repercussions of decisions that are made weighs heavily on you. I assume that it's something that you often think about. And while you're trying to sleep inside the wagon, Philomena, you recall a song that your mother used to sing to you at night when you had trouble sleeping as a child. Brings a little tear to your eye, but it also makes you feel a little bit better. And as that song continues in your head, you start to realize that it's not your mother's voice that's singing it. It's a different voice.
I think the fire that she had, the intention of when she lost her mother, of that feeling, that need to get revenge on who she deems caused it, kind of reignites within her. And a lot of that, while there is still that layer of regret, there are holes kind of burned through it that she can see through now, of why she is doing this and why she needs to do this. And there's both a comfort and a bit of a fear of what is to come and what that means and what this voice is. The one that isn't hers or her mother's, but she's heard before.
Eventually, yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Eventually, she drifts off. You drift off to sleep. And in the wee hours of the morning, as you start to hear your companions maybe mobilizing outside the wagon, you hear that voice again. as you're sort of in that liminal state between sleep and wakefulness. And it says to you, calm your nerves, child. Those evil men had what came to them. Your purpose is greater than all of that. I'm proud of you. With that, you gather yourselves on the next morning, the sun just barely coming up. Some of you having slept well, maybe others restless. You gather your things.
Oh, yeah. Mel didn't sleep at all. She kept staring at the new name in her book, the past running through her mind, wondering how she was going to get information on this person, where, just wondering just why this person showed up in her book out of nowhere after she's been staring at it for days. So she definitely got no sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, the name Mangus Crane just kind of replaying in your head over and over again, trying to query your own memories to see if there's some connection. Have you heard the name before? You can't place it. You're fairly certain you'd never heard it before it was spoken to you by the man that ran away. And you certainly never wrote the name down in your book. This isn't the first time, Mel, that names have appeared in your book. And while it's disturbing and it's puzzling, it also gives you a strong sense, as you mentioned the previous day to your companions, a strong sense of purpose. Because those names in your book get crossed. Well, almost all of them get crossed off in a timely fashion. So, you guys gather your things together as the morning is upon you, and you start to travel as you were the previous night. Looking over your shoulder, perhaps, Grukka maybe riding back a little ways to get a view from a high point down back the way you came. You can see, Grukka, just a wisp of dust being set off in the distance, far back in the eastern direction towards where the incident took place the day prior.
It's not smoke, it's dust, huh?
It's dust being kicked up.
Someone's coming.
Yeah, you get the sense that it's a group, perhaps on horseback.
I'm just gonna ride back up to the group because I'm sure we're mobile, and gonna let Brother Portis know that I don't know how quickly it will show up. We could already be where we need to be by the time they got here, but there is someone behind us. They're going fast. It could be about us. It could be not about us. We don't know. I talk too much, and
Well, I mean, it's a good point that you may for us to pay attention, but I think there's not much that we can do besides go as quickly as possible towards the direction that we're headed.
Yep. But don't
Keep an eye, however, let Melantha know.
I'm in the back, so can I, and I guess due to my race abilities, can I hear the people coming up?
No, you wouldn't be able to hear them because they're very far away, but I would say that you probably were on your horse, like saddled in your horse next to Grukka on his horse as you both took notice of this wisp of dust being kicked up.
Okay. And is Philomena still in the carriage?
No, she would have gotten off at this point, unhooked.
She's back on Dodie. Okay.
Portia's in the carriage because that's where the driver's seat is.
Yep, the driver's seat is inside the carriage. So Portia / Portis. Are you still in Portia disguise at this point?
I touched it up, in fact. We readjusted everything.
Give us a deception check. Let's see how good of an adjustment you made.
See how good I am at putting on makeup.
Has Philomena been made aware yet? If not, Mel gives her a heads up saying we have company.
Ah, shit. I'm telling you, if we just rode all the way there, this wouldn't be happening, but
13 on the roll.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. I mean, when you're out in the bush like this and you're dealing with, the dust and the grime and the dirt, you did the best you could. It's pretty good. Yeah. All right, so you guys head off, and you start to see the terrain change a little bit. Lake Erston, if we go back to the map here, is this little lake right here, just west of the main route between Chendel, Redoubt, and Crockport. And you've been instructed by your Wretched Steel handler, a fellow by the name of Carver. You're not sure how he got his nickname, but you've been informed that you should find the hideout out on the shore of Lake Erston. Gave you just a hand-drawn rough map of the area, so it's not going to be too hard for you to find. The area is remote, untamed. There's no roads in this area, as best you can tell. There's a rocky ridgeline, outcrops of granite. You have to, slowly pick and choose your route through this area. It's not as though there is a well-defined route. And this is a big wagon, a sizable wagon, and heavy. And so you get about as far as you can before the wagon itself gets lodged in between some rocks. The terrain gets steep. You get the sense as you're trying to slowly maneuver, hopping out of the wagon itself to guide the horses a bit, that it's gonna take you much longer than you need if you want to salvage this here wagon. Now you could do it. It's going to take you some time, and you do have, based on the information that you got from Grukka and Mel, that there's potential company on their way.
We should ride forward, leave the wagon, ride forward, and find Carver.
Are we going to be able to load up everything on our horses?
Oh, we don't need to load everything. We'll tell them that we're here, and they can come find it. They'll be equipped for this.
What are you going to do with
How far away are we?
the 4 horses that are currently attached to the wagon?
Mel unhooks them, lets them go. That way that they don't have ample opportunity to take the wagon.
You guys watch as Mel just unlashes them and slaps them one of them on the ass, and they just take off running out into the scrub.
I'm gonna go clean up some of the shit that we left, and I start kind of running my foot along the tracks that the wheels made to try and just disrupt it a little bit.
Sure, yeah, and there's
As far back
branches
as
of
this
like
conversation goes.
old scrub cedar branches and stuff. You could break off a tree and like sort of dust it, to try to do the best you can. Give me a survival check.
Am I good at that?
I
Probably.
suppose we could help. We'll help you.
Yeah, roll with advantage. As
Okay, thank God.
You're being helped.
That's an 11.
Okay, it's better than a 10.
True.
Yep, you do the best you can with the time and the sense of urgency that keeps pushing you forward. For the moment, do you do anything else before you leave the wagon?
I'm going to take the orb with us.
Okay, you grab the crystal orb.
I'm going to put it in my satchel. 'cause
I
that's something
suppose
that is light and I can carry.
by that measure, we could remove the boxes and crates and chests and whatnot, and we just put them in the shrub away from the wagon. If they find the wagon, at least it won't have the goods.
That
As
sounds
you say
good as
that,
plan as
Grukka's
any.
already throwing some of the boxes off the top of the wagon.
Don't throw him!
Yeah.
Don't-
How heavy are these boxes? Would it take more than one person to move?
One of them lands on the ground and shatters
Oh, Grukka's
as you're just about to throw the next one over here.
No more throwing, Grukka. No more throwing.
Which was it? Can I run up and see if anything's damaged?
Absolutely, you can.
Please
As
tell me it was the ingots.
you run over and
I would
you-
have thrown the bigger boxes.
so the bigger one would have been like the swords. Yep. It's funny though, as you look down at the swords as they're now laying exposed, none of them look damaged.
Oh, thank God. That's weird.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Lemmy.
Grukka, hand the boxes down. Hand them down.
Yeah.
We'll move them carefully, quickly,
Yes.
and then
If
wrap
anything
those
gets-
swords in.
If anything gets damaged, it'll possibly be our heads. Think about that next time.
At least it'll cost us some
I told
coin.
Brother Portis to grab the horse blanket off of Anvil to wrap the swords up, and you can bury them.
Can I pick up a
I start
sword?
handing down boxes, whatever. I'm more concerned. I keep looking at the back end, towards the rear. I keep stopping and listening every 30 seconds to see if I can hear any, coconuts clapping together.
Grukka, hurry.
Philomena, you're gonna
She's
grab
pick
one of
up
the swords?
sword.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it lighter than I would expect a sword to be?
Strangely, it is. These are considered
What the hell
long
is
swords, but
this?
it's got the weight, amazing balance, and it's got the weight of a much smaller blade.
I bring Anvil's horse blanket over, and I pick up the ones that you're not holding, and then I go, "Come on, child, quickly."
This is some sort of master craftsmanship or something. This is impeccable. And I
Well,
hand it
it's-
over.
It's worth good money to us. I'll wrap them up and hide them in the blanket, as well as the chests and crates, and move it all out of the way.
Easy enough. You're able to stash everything in a very good spot underneath some twisted cedar, juniper trees, I should say, and you feel like you've done a pretty good job with the brushing of the wagon tracks, which did a pretty good job. The release of the horses could potentially distract any pursuers or anybody who might be following you. So you get a sense that with everything that you've done, and especially hiding the loot, as it were, you feel like you're ready to press on.
Who do I ride with? I don't have a horse.
You can ride with me.
I think we could find one of the horses at Mel's.
I appreciate that. I'll
Yeah.
ride with Melantha.
You could sit right in front.
Is that how that works?
Oh, it does on my horse.
Does Portia ride side saddle?
In the spirit of keeping up appearances, of course I will. Thank you so much for giving me a lift.
All
Better
right.
to keep an eye on you.
So the
I sort
four
of
of
felt
you,
the same way, but touche.
Mm.
you sit facing each other so you can keep an
Not
eye on
quite
each
that
other.
This is more like I'm sitting side saddle, and
Every time he
Amazing.
looks back, I just wave.
Oh my god, that's amazing. All right, so
Let me
the four of you
amused.
press on. The uneven terrain becomes more rugged, and there are jagged outcrops, as I mentioned. Any semblance of a path is covered in dense thickets. So you do a lot of maneuvering, and as you continue on, there was no way you were going to get the wagon into this level of the surrounds. It kind of gives way, this scrubby juniper like scrub sort of habitat gives way to some tall pines and fir trees as the elevation sort of increases, and you find yourself cresting a rocky ridgeline. And as you get to that ridgeline and look down, you see this gorgeous blue lake down below. On the edge of the lake, you see a weathered structure nestled between the towering pines. As you continue on and get closer, you see that it appears as though the structure may have once been a hunting lodge, perhaps. But upon just a very cursory look, you can tell it's fallen into disrepair, hasn't been used for a long time. It's got this sort of high gabled roof. The shingles are missing. There are the wooden beams. This is all built out of timbers, probably harvested and worked here on site from trees growing in the area. These massive beams are sagging with weight, perhaps with decay. There's ivy and creeping vines that seem to choke the stone foundation. broken windows that have been appear to have been covered up with burlap, and boards, wooden planks have been nailed to the to the walls, the wooden walls. And in front there's this wide porch, and the railing around the porch is cracked and splintered and falling apart. And there's a heavy wooden door that presumably leads inside this old hunting lodge. It's the only sturdy looking thing on the entire ramshackle lodge.
All
There's
right,
nobody
I
else
was
around.
wrong. I was wrong. This is not cozy or nice. I'm glad that we rested where we did. Thank you all.
That's when you hear a voice. Not cozy or nice, you say? Well, ain't you a picky one? And you turn around and you see this lanky, middle-aged human with grayed hair tied back in a ponytail, and his left eye is covered with a patch. He's got a finely crafted bow slung over his shoulder. Not armed beyond that. And you see this off to the side. You see this red-haired elf. She does have a blade in her hand, but she's trying to sort of conceal it along her leg. Now, who might you be?
We come bearing gifts.
More specifically, we're here to fulfill an agreement. My man on the inside is named Carver, and I'm actually looking for Lieutenant Keith Bloodbane, if I may.
Bloodbane. Oh my. You must be Mosquito. Is that right?
Guilty as charged. Don't really like that phrase, but yes. Pardon the appearance. I am Mosquito.
Where did you get that nickname? This is the red-headed elf. You a bloodsucker?
I sort of think of myself as innocuous, sort of hard to detect, and a bit of a buzz in one's ear, but on certain occasions I perhaps have been referred to as such.
Yeah, you just look like a harmless old lady to me.
Well, then I've accomplished my intention. And I do appreciate the affirmation.
Well, you have to excuse my associate's, bluntness. This here's Zella. Zella, this is the Mosquito and Associates. Hey, Len, you can put down the crossbow. It's all right. You watch as, unbeknownst to you, this very short halfling with tightly cropped hair and a big old beak nose that's that's kind of, you can tell it's been broken and it's crooked off to the left. Yeah, all right, boss. And he drops the crossbow down as he emerges. He's got almost like a ghillie suit kind of situation on. That's why you didn't see him. He's got twigs and branches stuck in all of his clothing and that sort of thing. And the main guy says, "Name's Dolan. Yeah, welcome to Lake Erston. We were told you're going to be here. Carver gave us a heads up, sent word that some of his friends might be showing up with something important."
Is Lieutenant Bloodbane present? Oh, I am sorry.
Yeah, Bloodbane ain't come back. He ain't come out here for years. Nah, he's back in Crockport, pulling strings and doing the things that a leader, a lieutenant might do. Ourselves here, well, we got stuck with this place. But I think you'll find it, young lady, that it ain't too bad once you get inside. We do like to keep up appearances, though, and, dilapidated old hunting lodge is, it's a good cover, if you know what I mean. You don't look like you're laden with loot. You run into problems back there?
No. Just that the brush is so thick we couldn't get the cart through, so we had to hide some of the goods and come back for them later. We were
All right.
hoping that y'all would help transport them. Perhaps have a better way through this than we do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we know this area Better than anyone. I got a couple of boys, Kale and Trina, Vargas. They'll take care of it.
There may be riders approaching.
Like I said, they'll take care of it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, if we may rest a bit here and see if there's any questions you may have for us before we go on to Crockport. That will be our final destination.
Yeah, you got it. We got transport lined up for you leaving tomorrow. You'll be heading out with Drothak, his crew.
Well,
In the meantime,
yes.
Come on in, make yourself comfortable. Looks like you've been through a little bit. He looks at your clothing, Portis, and you can see the blood stains. Get into a bit of trouble.
Well, just suffice to say they weren't willing to give us the wagon peaceably, you know.
Well, it's understandable.
And for your boys going to pick up the spoils, if you may. They are covered in a blanket in the shrubbery or bush. We didn't want to keep them out in the open, just in case they had a hard time trying to find it.
Also, not to make any presumptions, but we do have an item count of how much is there and what's there. So if anything's missing, we'll know.
Smart lady you are. It's always good to do your accounting when you're making deals of this nature. Respect. Hey, Ghost! Come on out here. He watches this little diminutive goblin walks out with this big toothy grin. Smiles up at you. He's got balding hair. Doesn't say much at first, just kind of looks at you and says, "Yeah, boss, what is it? You think you can backtrack them?" He looks over at Grukka. "Yeah, he's got big feet. I can track him." And he gives you a big toothy smile. And then he takes his teeth out and he gives you this gummed smile. "I can track him real good." Puts his teeth back in.
All
right, good. Take the boys and go recover the goods. All the goods, Ghost. "Yeah, you got it, boss." You watch as a couple other figures come out of the woods and they sort of follow this little goblin off. "All right, then. Looks like you need a bit of rest. Come on in, make yourself comfortable." He leads the way towards the front door, and the redheaded half-elf puts her blade away, and she just kind of watches you all as you walk behind him, just kind of giving you a little bit of a what's for, kind of sizing you up a little bit as each one of you passes by.
Oh, Mel sizes are up right back.
Philomena has kind of stuck to the back, so as she passes, she'll kind of pull up on the reins a little bit and look down. Us half-elves have to stick together, don't we?
She just looks up and
Philomena, and I'll extend my hand down to her.
she doesn't reach out her hand, but she says, "Zella. Zella Vaughn."
So long. It's a beautiful name. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'll see you inside. And I'll take off.
Yeah, you dismount your horses. There's another individual named Red Bill who comes up. He's this red-bearded dwarf. "Yeah, I'll take this. I'll take the animals for you. Get them watered and fed."
Thank you very much.
"We run a tight ship around here. Might not look like much." This is Dolan again. "But, well, we've been here long enough to understand how it all goes down. Come on in." He opens the door, and it opens to reveal a dimly lit, somewhat musty interior of this, like, great hall as you walk into this, like, hunting lodge, right? There's the scent of old wood, damp earth, food, cooked food. There's a large stone fireplace on one end of the hall. Looks like there's some embers that are still sort of like smoking gently in the fireplace. You can see that there are along the walls the heads of wild game, elk, boar, bear, mounted, trophies of a long ago, dusty, mangy with age, but their glass eyes still stare into the room, and you can almost swear that the eyes follow as you walk through the room, kind of taking it all in. There's a long wooden table that occupies the center of the room, surrounded by all these mismatched chairs and heaped with mugs and plates. Doesn't look like anybody's done any cleaning up recently. There's muddy footprints along the floor, discarded gear. It's definitely a long-term sort of residence here for some of these individuals. And off to one side, there's a worn staircase that leads to the upper floor. If it weren't for the folks that you've been talking to and the bit of ember still glowing in the hearth, you'd think this place was abandoned a long time ago. And as you settle in, plates of food are served, some sort of stew. It's good. Whoever prepared it knows how to cook. You ask what it is, elk meat, some tubers, and some herbs that are, collected nearby, foraged. To some extent, this still is a hunting lodge, at least for these individuals that man the outpost. So we've got your destination still ahead of you, but I think this is a good moment to end tonight's session as you have arrived at the Lake Erston hideout. You have been somewhat warmly welcomed. We'll say that Ghost and his small group of companions return with the loot that you stashed, and they stack it in the Great Hall. You can easily inspect it to ensure that nothing is missing. Not a single thing has been moved from any of the crates. The bundle of swords has been set atop the crates, all 4 of them there, as was instructed. And you watch them and you get the sense that they are a close-knit community, gruff and maybe a little bit rough around the edges, and perhaps there's some tension, but for the most part, this is a very well-organized, we'll call it like a cell of the Wretched Steel Gang. And for the next couple of hours, and at least through the night, you'll be staying here and preparing for what lies ahead. So I think when we come back next week, we will have an opportunity for you guys to sort of spend some time in the lodge with some of these individuals. If you want to try to engage in any specific ways with them, or anything you want to do, we'll start out there, and then we'll jump back into the journey back to Crockport and find out what happens when you return to the big city. So we'll end tonight's session there. So thank you guys. We did it. We got our first session in. Heck yeah. Thank you so much, you guys, for jumping in on this game. I've been wanting to do sort of a Greyhawk / sort of a Western vibe to it. And I'm glad that you're all part of it. So thank you very much. And thanks to everybody who's been hanging out in the chat and spending the night with us. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you all for getting in and getting goofy. Let's go back around the table real quick. Let's do some outros. If you want to plug your things again, please do. If you have something you want to plug, go for it. If you just want to say, hey, please do that. Let's go ahead and start with Ty again.
Oh, thanks. I am Dungeon Mr. Ty on the socials, the creator of Adventure Slang Productions, New Varden, and the Fortunes D4 system. And if you want to check that out, if you're curious about it, a fun way to do it might be to check out the new podcast, The Chronicles of Nephis, which is set in New Varden, which is the garden of that world. And you can sort of get an idea how the mechanics work and what the setting is like, and just hear a fun dramatic audio play. I taught myself how to do the editing and all that kind of stuff, which was
nice.
An adventure. Yeah, it's an ongoing learning process. The writing is mine, of course, which is my background. So that was the easy part. But anyway, you can go to adventuresling.com for information on all of that. And there's a calendar there. I will be at Big Bad Con at the end of October in Burlingame, California, which is essentially San Francisco next to the airport. So that's me for now. And I will be here next week playing Portis, Portia, Paulina, Paul, who knows?
Petunia?
Continue this adventure. perhaps.
Yes. All right. That's my request. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ty. Glad to be on this side of the GM screen. You have run a lot of games for me, and I'm glad to repay the favor. So glad to have you here, my friend. Let's jump over to Ktyria next.
Hi guys, I'm Ktyria or Rachel. I really got nothing much going on other than come revisit next week on Tuesday at 7:30. What time zone?
Central.
Central.
The
There
best
we go.
one.
Just making sure. Central time zone. If you have any questions or want to reach out or maybe get me into a game of some sort, you can message me on Discord at Ktyria. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm glad with your busy schedule and all the stuff you have going on IRL that you're able to play this. So thank you very much. You were awesome. Philomena's great. Thank you so much.
I'm having a great time.
Awesome. That is what I like to hear. Let's jump over to Coco.
Everybody, yes, y'all can find me on Twitch on my channel. I won't be streaming much this week since I have a lot to prepare for this weekend for the convention. But I will be starting streaming up after the convention is over. So starting next week, I don't have a set time. But yeah, if y'all also have any questions, I'm on Discord. I'm CocoBunny94. You can whisper me on Twitch, or like Rachel said, if you want me to get into any games, I am more than willing to learn any new style of game, any type of edition. I am there for it. But thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to see everybody again next week.
We will be next week will come fast. So I'm very excited to see what happens next. There's so much going on this week. Thank you so much, Coco. Glad to have you in this game. I've had a lot of fun playing other games with you. So I'm happy to run a game for you. And last but not least, a man that I love GMing in all sorts of games and tormenting in Shadow Dark, ScottishJeff. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, this is great. ScottishJeff. You can find me in the comment section on a lot of the Twitch channels.
Always
find me in the Discord playing Shadow Dark with DM Dave, and hopefully we might have another DM coming in at some point.
Yeah, Tythalanos is going to start running some games.
Nice.
Yep.
And you can find me Friday night coming up playing on Castle Entertainment on Twitch with Carlos Lysing for his virtual Greyhawk game, and you'll find me again on Sunday afternoon playing with DM Dave for a virtual Greyhawk game, which should be exciting. And as a post-credit scene, Grukka's in his room, and he pulls a severed finger out of a pouch on his belt, and he grabs red thread and a needle, and he stitches a nice little red line, and then a second red line, and he looks at the finger with the ring on it and says, 2 more names added to your responsibility to what you made me. And I'll leave it at that.
Ooh, all right. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Fun. That's juicy.
Post-credit scenes. Damn.
You want to see what happens? Come back next week.
You're gonna have to now after that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have to write it down.
Yeah, we all better be here. Jeff, thank you so much. I love playing games with you, and yeah, anytime we can play is I'm down. Hey guys, you know me. I'm DM Dave, Dungeon Dave, or just Dave, and I like to play games, produce games, run games. I love to bring people together, and I'm very excited that we have been able to pull more people into our Greyhawk campaign. This is happening all at the same time as our sort of like our main campaign that we've been running for years. So this is sort of like a side adventure that may or may not weave its way into the main campaign. So we'll see how that all plays out. This is certainly an area of the Flanness along the shores of Wyastel Lake, where there's a lot of activity happening that ties to some of the things that are happening in the other campaigns. So I love doing that kind of stuff. All these Greyhawk games are tied together in some way, shape, or form. I want to do some quick plugs. We are going to find somebody to raid into here, but I want to do a couple of quick plugs. In later this month, on the 19th, 19th of, is that what it says? 19th of October. Yes, it is. Saturday the 19th, we are going to be starting a Tales from the Loop game. Alan Henry's going to be running it. A bunch of folks from New Zealand are going to be playing in it, along with myself. So I'm very excited to play with a bunch of new people. I've played with Alan before in our Carbon 2185 game that Ty ran, had a blast. And so invited Alan to come and run a game. And so I'm very, very excited for that to happen. It's going to be a fantastic experience. And then also, again, the virtual Greyhawk Con game, come back here on Sunday at 2 p.m. Central for our virtual Greyhawk game. There's going to be a lot of games going on all weekend. So save your energy and join us on Sunday as we sort of, I think we're the last actual play, and then we raid into Gazumba and the end credits of the shenanigans that he likes to do at the end. So come by and check it out. We're going to be having a lot of fun. That is on Sunday, with a bunch of great people that'll be hanging out with us. Thanks everybody for being here. We are going to do some raiding. Stick around for just a couple minutes while I find our raid target. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. This is going to get real because there are a lot of threads here with delivery of goods, with potential double crosses, triple crosses. I don't even know how many crosses there are.
Quadruple.
A lot of freaking crosses. So come back to find out what happens.
Many crosses.
We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.